What's up, Skirt Up Squad?
Did you just take my line? It's Samantha.
And Melissa.
I'm going to actually tell you guys how it is right now. It was so funny.
We couldn't even make it up. I'm going to do it. I'm going to wear it in public.
Then she looks at me and she goes, that's what Jesus is for.
We are about normalizing things that are hard to talk about.
So I was like, deer in headlights, skirts out. But keep your panties on. What's up, Skirts Up Squad? It's Samantha. Melissa is out today with a migraine, which I totally understand. I think that's like going around right now because I had a migraine. So last week, my birthday was on Monday. And that following day, that Tuesday, I got a migraine and I had it literally from wake up to bed, like constant until yesterday, Saturday. So I had it for like 4 or 5 days. And so I'm hoping she doesn't have it for that long, but you know, whatever this is, it is not fun. And my 14-year-old is going through it right now. So yeah, I hope she feels better soon and sending her all of the healing and loving. You know, it's really funny because what I was going to jump on and talk about for this intro before we get to like a really fun episode is I wanted to talk about how the fail of here I am and I've created and opened this new mental health and wellness practice. And what I was really struggling with is that I opened this practice and I'm like, okay, this is mental health and it's to help like really serious things, like really deep things. And so here I'm like, okay, I have to be professional and I have to be perfect. Otherwise, why would people trust me? Like, why me? You know? And so here I am trying to put together these like perfect things and these perfect messages. And that's just, it wasn't feeling right. And it wasn't feeling natural. And it wasn't feeling like this was going to work. And I just was feeling so, what am I going to do? And it just didn't feel good. And then I kind of had this moment of sitting there and I was like, okay, what makes skirts up, right? And really that it always comes down to this from what guests say and what you guys say. It's that imperfection that really makes us relatable and makes, you know, the show just what it is. And why do I need to portray something perfect in a mental health practice? I feel like I could bring that imperfection that is so relatable to Skirts Up into the practice to be relatable to, you know, everyday struggles. And so it was kind of, I just felt like it was a really big fail of like trying to go into this thing in this perfect way. And that's just not going to happen. It's not who I am. And then I just had a recording with a really, really fun lady. I can't wait for you guys to meet her. And somehow the conversation literally ended in exactly this, like exactly. Like I had this thought yesterday. And then here it is doing this recording this morning, right before this intro. And it comes up again. And it literally points to that reminder of, well, I'm not perfect and I can bridge that imperfection and that connection into my other business. I don't know if that makes sense. I feel like that was a lot of blabber, but I don't know. It's just so cool how that happens. Just things connect when they're supposed to and meant to, and just really cool. But I'm not going to hold you guys for too much longer. This episode is really cool. So this is more on finances and how to kind of not have guilt around money. We did have the Money Honey, and this is different though. This is Money Honey was kind of like building a relationship with money. And I feel like this episode is more of like accepting and like owning that you can give yourself like X amount of freedom with your money. And it's one of those episodes that when I re-listened to the other day before doing this intro, I was like, oh man, this was like so much good stuff. Why do these episodes and these conversations go in one ear and it seems like they go out the other? And then once you hear it again, it's like, oh gosh, that was so good. Why did I not follow and keep up with it? Because it was working. And yeah, this was one of those episodes. So here we are. We're going to learn about my money and what that means for you. today we have with us Linda Grizely. She's a financial educator, motivational speaker, and the creator of Me Money Framework. So we're really excited to have her with us and teach us about how to make money work for us. So I'm excited.
Me too. I really love the idea of money working for me instead of me like working my whole life.
Yeah. Hey, Linda.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me on. I'm looking forward to our conversation. You guys have such a fun podcast, so I enjoy listening to it. I'm glad to be on for you guys.
Well, thank you.
We try.
We're very excited to have you here.
Okay, so you created Me Money Framework. Where did that come from?
So it came from a combination of things, but the easy answer is it came because I put my husband on a budget.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Oh, is he like the big spender and you're more of like the realistic?
Yes. So he's the spender and I'm the saver. And that's just like our general money personalities. So there's no wrong money personality. But what happened is I was a financial advisor. And so I did all of our finance. I did the financial stuff and he just went along his merry way and was just doing things. And I was like, I told him, like, you don't realize how much you're spending. He's like, oh, I'm not spending very much. It's just this and it's just that. And I'm like, yeah, but just this and just that all adds up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm putting you on a budget. So I put him on a budget and he's like, you get this much every paycheck. And he's like, well, great. You're giving me an allowance. And he's like joking around. And he's like, are you going to put yourself on a budget too? And I was like, yeah, I'll give myself the same amount. So the quick version of this is that when I checked back with him, like, how are you feeling? Because I thought maybe he was going to be like, this is restrictive. My wife is controlling me.
Right.
He was like, I'm just making better choices with my money.
That's what
I know if I say yes to this now, that I might say no to something later. So like, for instance, his thing was that he wanted to buy this golf shirt and he has like 1 million golf shirts and he decided not to buy it because he knew that he'd rather save the money for this golf trip that he was going on and spend money to spend on the golf trip. Whereas in the past, he would have just bought the golf shirt and gone on the golf trip.
Right.
So now he had this budget that he had to stick to. He was just making better decisions. And he didn't, I asked him if he felt restricted by that. And he's like, no, I didn't need it. Like I would have bought it, but I don't need it. And then the flip side though, was that since I did put myself on the same budget, I now had money to spend that I didn't have to answer to myself for, because I'm the one who always felt guilty if I bought something for myself. Like I can't afford this because this money should be going into my retirement fund, or this is a financial planner in me, right? Or this money should be going towards my emergency fund, or I should wait and save this for something for my kids or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I always had that guilt. I'm not saying I didn't spend on myself. Like I did. So for instance, I could justify buying 10 different things for $10. I could never justify buying one thing for $100.
So interesting.
Yeah. So it was like this like mind-blowing thing where I was like, oh my gosh, this is working for both of our money personalities. Mm-hmm. And I started implementing it without having other people implement it. And I found like it works no matter what your money personality is, because it gives like intention and framework to how you spend your money.
Right.
I identified 5 different personalities. Okay. And there's a bunch of different personalities out there. Like if you Google money personalities, there's all different people.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah. So I talk about 5 different ones. So I talk about the saver, who is like the practical, frugal person, and who was me. And I needed to use me money to give myself permission to enjoy money. Right. My husband is a spender. Now he's not just a spender on himself. He spends on other people too. So he's very generous too. So if you're a spender, it doesn't necessarily have to be on yourself.
Yeah.
But the me money like
spender. Well, actually, I know, think about it.
So yeah, you might be the next one. So the next, the avoider. It's somebody who doesn't like to think about money.
Okay.
And it could be for a lot of different reasons, Melissa. It could be complicated, boring, stressful, or you're just easygoing and are like, whatever, the money will figure itself out.
Right. Oh God, I might be an avoider.
But here's the thing. You say, oh God, like it's a bad thing. It's not.
No.
There's no wrong money personality. And this
Okay.
is where the me money thing comes in, because that will help you reconnect and be intentional about that
Okay.
of your money, right? So it's just saying like, okay, you're not going to avoid this little piece of your money. You're going to pay attention to this. And it's not as overwhelming as like doing a whole budget or a whole plan. Like you're just paying attention to the one thing. And then there's two more.
Okay.
So there's a security seeker. And this is someone that's like a step above the saver, who wants everything planned out and wants to know that the future is safe and probably isn't spending very much at all. So I don't know, Samantha, if you are a saver or a security seeker, or maybe somewhere in between.
Maybe somewhere in between.
Yeah. And then the risk taker. Now, this one might be one that you were just describing, Samantha, which is somebody that has like bold ideas and like zero fear. They're just like, go big or go home. Like, I have to do this and try, then and fail, then never try. Right. That's adrenaline, and spontaneity sometimes is running the strategy. So all of these, when I have me money implemented, it helps them. And we're talking about just like your personal spending, not like your overall spending. So talking about investing is different. It's a whole different category than me money is. But using me money, like with my husband, just the idea that he had more intention around that piece just made him think differently about finances overall.
Okay.
So did he have a job when he, like, when you said this is, or when allowance wasn't the word, but when you were like,
put him on budget,
when you put him on a budget, was he also working? So he was on a budget of like his own paycheck, or was that the combined working paycheck?
We were both working.
Okay, so it was the combined income.
We both got the same budget, the same amount of me money, because same roof, same lifestyle. It doesn't matter who's making more.
Right.
Like you're each going to get the same amount because you're living basically the same life, right? If you're together and you're living under one household, like you should live the same life. You should have the same amount, regardless of who makes more.
Like now, even if one is not working.
Well, I mean, that would be a conversation you would have, but the idea is that you want yourself, you need your self-care. Even if you're not working, you still need your self-care. Like, and there's money that's being spent on yourself, even if you think there's not. Like if you pay attention to it. That's why I tell people to, track what you're spending on yourself for just a couple of weeks and see what you're really spending. And that's anything that is like just for you. That doesn't, like if you're in a relationship, it's just for anything that's just for you that really doesn't benefit the other person. That's what your me money is for.
Okay.
And it can be unique to different couples too, right? Because like for me, like I get my nails done, and I pay for that out of my me money because he doesn't care if I get my nails done. Right. But there might be somebody whose spouse wants, like, I really like you having your nails done, and I'm willing to have that be part of our money and not be something that you have to pay for separately. Like that's going to be a unique conversation to each relationship. But the idea is that if it's something that benefits you only, it should come from your little section of me money.
Okay.
My coffee addiction. That would be me money.
I don't know. Could you not argue like, oh, this keeps me fueled so that I can watch the kids?
Oh, no. He would definitely argue because he's like, why do you even drink coffee? Because I could drink the largest coffee and, to keep me going, but then like crash real hard, like just go right to sleep immediately after. Like coffee puts me to sleep. And he's like, why do you even do it?
Fair.
Yeah, so I don't have an excuse. I just like it.
So I was kind of interested. So it sounds like me money, what we're talking about is not like actually the all-encompassing budget, but more like just that one part of the budget where you spend money on yourself. And it sounds like you're saying like everyone should have me money regardless of what kind of personality you are. And me money is like what I'm hearing is it's like a really important part of the budget for every type of personality, regardless of who you are.
Exactly. Because in doing financial planning, the first thing that you do when a client comes in is you go through what they have coming in and what they have going out. And we call it cash flow, but it's really a budget. Like it's really, what's your budget? What do you have coming in? What's going out? But never on there. I mean, you might say like, this is what we spend on vacations, or this is what we spend going out to eat. but never on there is there ever a place that says, this is my money that I get to spend on myself. Like that's the part that never is on there. And so by adding this part in, or just starting with that piece, if you don't have a budget or a plan, just start with that piece so that you have more intention around your money. And I have people go, and I did this with my husband too, go so far as to open a separate bank account for it. So like each paycheck, each payday, we each get our me money goes into our separate accounts. And then I have a high yield savings account. So what I don't spend, I move into my high yield savings account, and then it sits there so that if I have some extra special I want to do, whether it's buy something, go on a trip, whatever it is, I have that already. I'm saving from that because I have to save my me money because anything that's just for me has to come from that. So like when my husband would go on fishing trips and on golfing trips, and he would, at least 2 fishing trips and 2 golfing trips a year. And I'd always be like, oh, I can't afford to go on a girls trip. And so I was never going anywhere. And now I'm saving the money aside. And I'm like, if anybody asks me and I have a place to go, I'll be like, I can go. I mean, I'm not saying I didn't go on any, but every once in a while I would, but I would always be the one saying, I can't. And now I'm like, no, it's there. The money, I'm saving it, and it's going to be ready when the opportunity arises for something you want to do. So I have that separate account, and that's the way to truly keep it so you're really paying attention to it.
Okay. Are you actually recent? Oh, sorry, Sam.
Oh, I was just going to say, are you able to have me money in the budget if you are living paycheck to paycheck? I feel like that's kind of a really common thing right now with all the rising prices.
It is. And so even when you're leaving paycheck to paycheck, you're still spending money on yourself, whether it's the coffee or whatever it is, right? You're still spending it. So the idea is the easy way to figure out your me money number is to track your spending for even just a week or two, a couple of weeks, maybe a month, and figure out how much you're actually spending on yourself already. And then pick a number that goes along with that. You might want to think about future things too, though. Do you go to, a show once in a while, or do you go do this once in a while, or what are those extra things that you do so that you can average it out for the year?
Okay.
And start giving yourself just that amount. And then that way you're still spending what you're already spending, but you're paying more attention to it. Because the idea behind the personality part of it is that the more you pay attention to it, the more you understand how you spend too. Because some of us are emotional spenders where if we're had a bad day, Amazon cart,
Mine is if I've had any kind of day, I'm going to eat out. I'm like, I deserve this. And that is so expensive.
Yeah.
It is expensive. Yeah. Eating out. And it's not necessarily healthy either, right? Because you're consuming a lot more calories than you would be if you were eating in.
I'm an emotional eater, and it's bled into my finances. So is what I'm hearing and seeing about myself.
See? Okay. So the more you think about it, hopefully you're already realizing some things that maybe you hadn't thought about before. Have you thought about it before? Or?
Well, I have, but not exactly put up into those straight up words. I've kind of been like, oh, I'm always spending money when I shouldn't, and I'm always eating out more than I should. And I know on a separate level that I'm emotional and I eat for my emotions, but kind of realizing, wait, this is really affecting my finances. Putting it all together is just, I don't know. It's different. It's a different way to think about it.
It is. Yeah. Yeah.
I will say, after our initial conversation, when we did the pre-recording, I was really it left me thinking. And then I realized, holy smokes, as I started keeping track, later I realized how much I spend a month on myself on my own credit cards, and it was sickening.
Oh no.
And so I was starting to be more mindful of it. And I actually did do a whole lot better on my own spending. It actually
just
dropped
forcing
drastically.
yourself to look at it.
Yeah, by a few hundred, just by
Did you make a budget, or did you just
I did not. I was just
it?
I just looked at it and I was like, holy shit, every month I spend I'm not even going to say how much, but a lot. And I was like, man, I can't even justify this. And so I after our conversation, I was really careful about what I spent, because I was like, I probably don't need to be spending that much every month. And yeah, I like just in 1 week I was able to shimmy off what I would have put on it. So it works.
And so how do you
Yeah.
feel about it though? Did you feel like restricted too much?
I didn't feel restricted. I think I was definitely like really shocked at like when I really saw what I'm doing each month and was like, holy smokes. And honestly, the easiest fix was Starbucks iced coffee, cold brews, like I'm addicted. But they also buy the jugs that you can do it at home and make your cold brew at home. And honestly, it's so good. And like, I'm just as happy. And it's like, less sweet and I love it. So that's honestly been great. I can wake up and not have to go anywhere and just go into the fridge and now I have my coffee that I love. So it's been like a little more relaxing. And then I just haven't really. So the biggest change is that it made me think about how much driving I'm doing to get the kids for podcasting for work. My mom lives an hour away, so that's an hour to go drop off the baby, an hour to come back. That's, gas. That's me going, oh, well, I'm not going to eat today if I don't just stop at this fast food place. Or I'm not going to get coffee chance if I don't just stop at this coffee on the way. So right there, that like saving the gas, I ended up getting a sitter in the neighborhood. And so, I'm paying a little bit of money for the sitter, but I mean, that's
probably saving money besides just the gas, like you're saying. Because you're in the car and it's like, now I have to eat it.
Now I'm not leaving the neighborhood. So I'm not passing anything.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't feel any kind of way. I just feel like now I will feel, okay, maybe this isn't the right way, but I kind of feel like maybe I'll be justified when I need to spend something extra on the podcast or something. So I'll be like, well, okay, last month I didn't spend what I would usually spend. So now I can splurge on this for the show or something. So probably not the right way to think about it.
I don't think there's anything wrong with thinking of it like that. Is there, Linda?
There's not, but remember that it's supposed to be your me money. So if you set aside, so take the number that you had, right, that you figured out, and then you cut it back. So take that number and make that be your me money number and try to stay within that number every month. And then if you are not over it, then set that money aside, or, I recommend separate accounts, but if you want to do a spreadsheet or however you want to do it, just write it down in a notebook, whatever, then set it aside and know that you're saving that money up. And if you want to use it for the podcast, if you feel like that's for yourself, that's okay. But maybe you want to do a podcast bucket too and be like, it's my podcast money. And I'm giving myself however much a month for the podcast. And if I don't spend that much, then I save it. And then I can, get a bigger upgrade for something. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's taking it, giving it a number for that. Like my husband and I have talked about, like, we should do an us money budget, because what happens is then we go out together.
Oh yeah.
And we're like, and then we just,
who's paying for it?
You just spend. Where it's like, we're going to have, drinks and an appetizer and a meal and like, and then it's like money is no object because we're
and then because it's not coming out of any particular pool. And then you still have your me money to spend later.
Right. So I'm like, we need to do an us money budget, because I feel like we just feel like then we're like, we're not restrained. We're just like, it's our money.
Yeah. Totally.
That makes sense. Oh, wow. So how many categories should someone have? Because that's another category they don't really think of.
Yeah. Well, I say just start with me money, because honestly, once you start just thinking about that and being intentional about it, you realize so many things about yourself. And then you start to understand you start thinking more about the different ways that you spend money too. So it just puts things in a different perspective. But so when I did financial planning, or and even when I do financial coaching now, one of the things that we talk about is, if you want to, you can open separate bank accounts even and bucket for all the different things. So you can have an account to put in, or even just a spreadsheet where you say, this much is what I'm setting aside for, my house. Like whether you're saving for a house or whether it's like for house repairs, because you're going to have, like, if you own a house, you're going to have like long-term repairs at some point. Then you have like your car. This is how much money I spend on gas every month, or maybe this is how much money I'm saving for maintenance and things that might happen. Or maybe it's to buy a car later or whatever, like you have a car bucket, whatever that is. But then the idea is that you only take from that. And the same
Yeah.
thing for like vacations. Like you save money every month and you put it into your vacation bucket, but then you can only go on vacation when you have enough money in that bucket to spend it so that you're not putting things on credit.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just paying more
I
attention to what you're spending rather than just like, hey, do we have money in the bank? Great, we can go. Or,
Yeah.
you know, guess what? My car just broke down and I don't have any money saved.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I recently opened up a separate bank account and I'm calling it like billing, like bills. And I don't know why, like I didn't think, oh, I should also open up account for each different category. I really like that idea because so far I'm loving having a separate account for my bills. Like, so I put the money in there immediately. And so like with the shop, because I have a quilt shop, a lot of times I'll have uh, things that I order and they don't bill me for them until they ship out, which could be months later or a month
Mm-hmm.
later. And so
It's
now
hard to
I'm
budget for.
right. So I've started setting aside things like into that other account. And it's like, okay, well, it's there. I don't have to worry now. And the rest of the money, I mean, I still have more budgeting and ways to go, like to be perfect at this, but I feel better about my money since I opened that. So I'm loving the idea of opening up even more accounts because why not? Like, do you remember the envelope money, the envelope thing fad that was really big in like the late 90s?
Maybe.
You 2000s, but I don't know, Linda, do you remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
remember the movie. Uh-huh.
So I don't know who came up with it. I don't, but it was like you have a different envelope for your me money, your car, exactly like you're saying. It's exactly, but it was cash.
Mm.
And the idea was like, oh, when you're spending cash, it's harder to spend because you can see it leaving you and it's more of like it hurts a little more. But I didn't, I did that when I was in college and I literally had a roommate steal my cash. So like I stopped doing it. And I don't know. I feel like, yeah, the account thing is actually a really good way to kind of keep like a more of an actual physical tab on things, if that makes sense. It's not cash out of the bank, it's still in the bank, but like you could open up your bank app and you can see, okay, there's this much here, this much here, this much here. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm really, really loving this idea.
Yeah. So one of the things that I do is I like similar to you said, like for your bills, I have one that's called like my escrow account, which is where all of my annual or semi-annual bills go. So like my car insurance, I pay every 6 months. My house insurance, my property taxes, I pay either once a year or ever or twice. Like, so I have it and I have it in a spreadsheet. So all the things that I pay, not monthly, but on some other schedule are all in that account. So then I can see, you know, what the total is that I need. And then I divide it by 12. And then every month that payment goes into there so that that's where the money comes from. And then I just have it all set up on auto pay so that it just pays out of that account. But then every month I'm paying into that, you know, just like I would pay, just like you pay into your mortgage. If you have your taxes and insurance included in your mortgage, you're paying that part of your mortgage payment and it's going in and then they're paying out your taxes and your insurance. That's your escrow account. So that's what I started my own escrow account, but it's all the things that I pay that aren't monthly.
Mm-hmm.
So I have that
Okay.
account and then I have the account that like my regular monthly expenses come out of too. Um,
Okay.
and I probably should be budgeting more for vacations and doing a bucket for that. I just haven't implemented that myself yet. But
Okay.
the idea behind all of this is to know you and know your personality and know what's going to work for you.
Okay.
Because somebody might be thinking about that idea and it just might be like really overwhelming for them to think like
Totally.
to have all these different bank accounts. Like, and I'm surprised actually you saying you're an avoider that you
Yeah.
actually like the accounts. So that's interesting.
Well, I think it's because it makes me look at it. And
Yeah.
I'm 45 and what I just set up this one account finally for bills. Like after I've been in business for the shop, what I'm in my fourth or fifth year. And it's like, no, I need to look at these things. And I feel better when I do because I'm not like it when I as an avoider, because I will tell you, yes, I think I am an avoider. Um, I feel like it's like this not like something you can't see just kind of hovering over you because you're always ignoring it. And it but that number is still growing and you know it's growing of what you've spent, overspent, I guess you could say, but you're still not looking at it. So you don't know what the number is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of anxiety. And so opening up that bills account, like, yeah, I have to look at it and it's a little bit of work, but I already feel better. because it gives me that information that I was trying to ignore. Makes me look at it.
Yeah. Well, and actually, it probably makes more sense to you than it did
Yeah.
before. Like, because it's putting it in
Mhm.
a category, and now
Exactly.
it's less confusing.
Yeah.
An
Fair.
actual visual instead of like your imagination just like
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah.
like not bad.
Money's
It's
just a
fine.
construct. It's not
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
It'll work itself out, like you said earlier.
So you
Yeah.
have your own like financial educating business, is that correct?
Yeah. So I have online courses. Right now, the Me Money course is open. So it's ready for people to come in and learn about how to do Me Money. It includes a money personality quiz, which you can actually take on my website too without being in the course. The quiz is on the resources page. So it helps you understand what your money personality is and how having Me Money can help you with that. Because the idea is that there's no wrong money personality. You are who you are, and that's who you're going to be. And if you try to fight like try to change who you are, that's a lot harder than setting aside something that will just help you understand yourself better. Right.
Okay.
So you're not looking to change yourself, you're looking to understand yourself better.
So, like, I'm
That's already a great
hearing,
mindset.
right? So, I'm wondering, what would you do different for each? Like, I mean, I guess budgeting, sure, but what's the different aspects of the budgeting for different personality types?
So the idea with Me Money is that it works for any personality type. So just taking that piece, because it gives intention and it gives you more thought process, is really what it does. It just allows you to think more about it.
Right.
I also have a money mindset course that I'm revamping right now, but that course helps you really understand like where your money personality came from. Like, what are the things like,
Oh,
Sam, you talked about how you used to, take the money and hide it away
still hide
because you
it.
had people that made you need to do that. Right. So, I mean, that's part of who you are now, like, because
Yeah.
that's part of your life. So, uncovering those stories and understanding more about how those affect you, as well as stories from your childhood, like when you were very young. Did your parents talk about money? Did they fight about money? What were your first experiences earning money? Did you get an allowance? Did you have a way to earn money, or was it just like, no, you just like tried to find change under the chair, right?
Yeah.
Like, what
Right.
were the ways that you got money as a child, and how were you able to spend it for yourself? I've worked with people who, I had someone who is in their early 30s who said that they were a chronic spender, and they actually went to therapy for that. But they wanted to understand more about it outside of therapy. But the thing that happened for them is that they were always told no growing up because they were very poor. They didn't have a lot. So everything she wanted, she was always told no. So as soon as she was old enough and got her own decent job, she just bought everything she wanted. She never told herself.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I worked with someone who was 70 years old, who, after all these years, we talked about her mom and how her mom always was dressed to the nines and like looked fantastic, but the client as a child only got new clothes when it was time to go back to school. So by the time it was back to school time, it was like everything was all tattered and worn and nothing fit. And so that was her special time once a year to get clothes. But as we talked about these stories, she was like, oh my gosh, like I realize now that I have been putting everybody else first. It's like I've been telling myself I'm not worthy of spending money on,
Mm.
because that's the way I was brought up. Everybody else was okay to spend money, but not on me. But she
Yeah.
didn't realize that. She's like 70 years old, and she's like just finally realizing that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can keep going with a bunch of different stories, but I mean, I even have my own story, and where I like have uncovered different things about my money story at different parts of my life. And some of it, I'm still uncovering things. So the more you talk and the more you talk about your stories, the better you understand that.
Yeah. Melissa, does
Interesting.
anything come to mind for your reasoning behind avoidant money spending?
My avoidant oh, I don't even know. Like I have lots of bad habits growing up watching my family with money.
Huh?
Let's think this through. Let's talk it
Let's
out.
think it through.
So growing up, we didn't have a lot of money. And when we did, it was like my dad worked for himself. So if we did have money, it was kind of like in bursts, like you just never knew when it was coming. So I don't know. Maybe that's part of my like, oh, it'll work itself out thinking. I don't know.
Mm.
But even when it did come, we never had a lot. Like it was, I don't know. I don't know.
Did you feel like there was stress in the household over it?
Oh, big time. Like I felt like our whole money and like it was survival style, right? We when you're talking about the girl going to, yeah, we got new clothes sometimes before the school year, or we got a hand-me-down bag from our cousins and we got to look through it. And it was really fun because it was new clothes. But like, yeah, so like shopping and eating out, those were things that we really didn't do until I was older in my teens. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's
Mm.
interesting.
So you said the word stress and something else I don't remember what, but who would
Survival.
yeah, survival. Who wouldn't want to avoid that?
Yeah.
Fair.
Right?
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to avoid stress and feeling like you're in survival mode?
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So we're trying to like take so are we trying to kind of like reframe the way we look at money?
Um, you are reframing it in a sense because you're putting yourself first,
Okay.
but more importantly, you're learning about yourself. You're learning about how you spend money, why you spend it the way you do, or why you don't spend it and why you don't spend it the way you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why you save, why you don't save.
Okay.
Why you feel like you avoid it. If you feel like it's stressful and then of course you're going to avoid it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But now that you're putting it into a place where you make sense of it, it's not stressful for you.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm still kind of stuck on the if the same thing works for all of the personalities, why do we need to find out our personality per se? Like, are there more individualized tips on for each person?
There are, yeah. And the idea is that, yeah, it's going to work no matter what your personality is. But first of all, understanding what that personality is. Like now that you've said out loud, like, hey,
Yeah.
I think I'm an avoider.
Yeah.
I bet over the next, however long this stays in your head, hopefully longer than just a couple of
Yeah,
weeks,
it'll be a minute.
you're going to start noticing things. You're going to be like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm avoiding that right now. I'm avoiding that.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's going to make you more aware. You're going to start noticing things and you're going to start, thinking about how you deal with money more. So there is a
Okay.
lot more that goes into it. Like I try to make the whole me money concept very simple. Like you can do it on your own. I have this course that the course teaches you how to do the simple thing, like track it for a couple weeks. But then it also goes into like creating your actual whole cash flow budget kind of thing and coming up with a real me money number rather than just like a guesswork one. It takes you through
Okay.
all of that. And it just really is about understanding yourself and your relationship with money.
Neat.
Was
Is
how you grew up, Linda, like what led you into being interested into financial and budgeting? Like is
Yeah, I'm interested in that as well. Like what brought you here?
Well, what brought me here is not anything about how I grew up. So it's interesting though, because okay, let me go back to how I got into financial services. So I actually wanted to work for a non-for-profit because I wanted to I wanted to help people and I
Mhm.
wanted to have a big impact. So I figured
Okay.
working in the nonprofit world, I would have a bigger impact.
Yeah.
And I was taking a course at the American College of Financial Services called the Chartered Advisor in Philanthropy, which is like the biggest mouthful of words ever. But the idea is it was for like people who did like for nonprofits, like were able to acquire big gifts or like legacy planning. But
Okay.
once I put that on my LinkedIn profile, I started getting phone calls from financial services recruiters. And I wasn't having success finding a job in the nonprofit area, mostly because where I live, there's nobody who's out there getting these big gifts.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like those are mostly like universities and like big, and I'm not in a university town. So they're more like big, like hospitals. There are hospitals here, but their philanthropy departments weren't local. Like, so it was like, where am I going to go with this knowledge that I have and this stuff that I want to do? And so financial advising made sense. Now,
Okay.
I never actually worked with people who were like that, had that much money. I mean, I did for a little bit, but not in that sense. But anyway, the thing that got me like full circle to where I am now is that once I started working with clients in financial planning and I started seeing like all these mind blocks that they had, like these internal obstacles to them having success with their finances.
Right.
I was really intrigued by that. So like, for instance, there was a guy who came in and he was living well beyond his means and he knew he was, but they had this lifestyle that they were trying to keep up with.
Mhm.
And so I was talking to him like his last kids were going off to college. His wife was still working part-time. He was like the CEO guy. And I was like, well, we're running through his numbers. And I'm like, do you think you guys are going to downsize your house? He's like, no, we can't downsize the house. My wife would never want to downsize the house. I'm like, well, does she want to work full time? Like you're getting
You
to
have to
the
give or
time when,
take.
yeah. And so I'm having this whole conversation with him, and it comes down to I finally figured out that his brother is this super successful person who has like mega bucks, and he's trying to keep up with his brother.
Okay.
And so I find this out and I'm like, okay, so now I understand, you're trying to keep up with your brother. You want to keep up the lifestyle. You don't want to admit that you're living beyond your means. But then we got into like the investing part and he was like, well, my brother's investing in this. And so I want to invest in this. And I be like, this is not right for you in the situation that you're in. Like you should not be going out and investing this big chunk of your money into something that's highly speculative or risky because you can't afford to lose that money.
Yeah.
Your brother, on the other hand, can afford to lose that money. But he just wanted to keep up with his brother. So this is like one example where I'm like, wow, this person really just can't see the forest for the trees because he's just stuck on this other thing. And then I have other people who were like, well, my parents always told me this. And I got that a lot. And I'm like, you're not your parents. You don't even live in the same time frame as your parents.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the
It's another
economy was
world.
completely different then. It was a completely different world. Things are changing so fast now, as we get further and further in technology, the world is changing even faster than it used to be. Like if I think in my own life, everything that's changed, like it's crazy. So anyway, I got super intrigued by these mindsets of these obstacles. And I started thinking about my own story and, about being a teenage mom and, having to figure things out on my own, being super responsible with money. Like I didn't ever carry debt. I shouldn't say ever. I mean, I had a mortgage and a car payment here and there, but no, didn't ever carry credit card debt. I lived within my means and I did all the things right, except I never saved because I never was taught to save. My parents lived paycheck to paycheck. So I lived paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
So as I'm figuring this out in my second half of my life, I'm like, I got to start saving money. And this is where I became the saver, right? And now I'm so focused on saving. It just is a different, like I started thinking about my whole story and how that feeds in. And this whole mindset thing just got really, really intriguing to me.
Yeah.
So when you were young and you were responsible, were you like living on your own as a teen mom already? Or were you like, how were you having to take care of your finances at that point?
Yeah, I did live on my own as a teen mom. I had some help here and there. I'm not saying I did it completely on my own. Like so my dad was supposed to pay my mom child support. So when I wasn't living with my mom and I was living by myself, my dad gave me the child support money that he would have been giving her,
which is very
which
nice.
was super nice and helped me tremendously. And then I mean, it wasn't a lot of money, but it was to me a little bit, and then I had some help through some non-for-profits, which is why I wanted to give back and work for a non-for-profit later in life. So I got a grant to go to a community college. So I was able to get some schooling in a community college and get a 2-year degree that was paid for through a grant for single moms. Nice. And then actually when I was pregnant, I lived with a family who took me in because my parents both moved away and I didn't want to leave my friends. So I lived with a family who took me in while I was pregnant with the promise that I would find my own place and get out on my own before I had the baby so that I wouldn't be living
Oh,
with them with a baby.
Yeah.
But it was a
okay.
place for me to go and get established, get a job, get into school, get all the things that I needed in a safe place before I could get my own place.
Wow, that's interesting. I had a similar situation when I was young.
Yeah.
My parents both moved away and I stayed with some friends. And it's like interesting.
I was just, I think early in the stages of the podcast is really the last time we mentioned that I also was a teen mom, and I had Logan when I was in high school. He's 13 now. I had him when I was 17. And so this was the first time of having someone on who has also been a teen mom. And I feel like there's so much to unpack there in general um, with how that goes. Like, I know that graduating was very hard for me because the teachers in the school, like, their statue, like their image was more important to them than like the actual education of my education, like, because now I hurt their image. Did you experience that as well? Or did you graduate? Was it hard? Was it like, what was that like?
So I did not graduate. I dropped out of school. I didn't have to drop out of school. It just kind of made sense for me at the time. And I tried to do then what was called a correspondence course. So we didn't even have like the computer courses. It was like they mailed me a packet of stuff and I did the work and then I mailed it back.
Oh, that sounds
But
hard.
I didn't actually, yeah, it was hard. It was not fun. And I actually didn't finish that. So when I got the grant to go to the community college, I went to the community college and went to get my degree and I filed to get my, a graduation. And they're like, we can't graduate you. You don't have a GED. Like you don't
Oh
have
my gosh.
we don't even know how we let you in. I'm like,
Right. I
I'm
was about to
surprised
say,
too.
how in the world did that like
I had to take the GED when I was 16 to be able to go to the community college.
You didn't
They missed
graduate,
it.
Melissa?
No.
I didn't know that.
What?
I didn't know that.
So look at us. We have so much in common. So,
It's very interesting.
I had to like rush to get my GED to graduate. So I went and so here's the funny thing. I went and took the GED and then I graduated. And then I got this letter that says, oh, you scored so high, you're up for this award. And I was like, there's an award? I would have studied. Like I knew there was an award.
That's hilarious.
I mean, at that point, if you already completed college, like getting your GED, like that's gonna be easy. Like you already studied beyond what the GED would have been. So
yeah,
makes sense.
Well, when I did the correspondence course, I was a junior in high school when I dropped out. And when I did the correspondence course, they do like a test in the beginning to see where you are in each grade level. And they said like you're at whatever you're at, like everything is at least a sophomore grade level. And they're like, you could graduate, you could do the GED and take it and pass it like with just your knowledge. But if you want the diploma, then you should finish up this level of courses.
Okay.
So I think my dad wanted me to get my diploma, but then it didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
And the GED was fine. Like
that was a big deal to my mom.
Yeah.
Really?
Nobody asks now, right? But I mean, that's another thing that I like to bring attention to, though, is like one of my sons got his GED and didn't graduate either. And I'm like, I'm totally fine with that. Like,
I don't think it's a big deal.
You're going to be fantastic. Your life is going to be great. If high school isn't for you and you're having a bad time and you want to get on with your life, just get on with your life.
Yeah, that's another thing that we're talking about. And Melissa, I keep meaning to talk to your friend because Logan is really into financing and he's really into working with his hands, building things. Like he's so into money so I opened up this account with Greenlight for the kids a couple of years ago so that when they do their chores, I put their money on their debit card or whatever you want to call it. And then they can watch their money, their savings, their spending. And Logan, I never had to put a budget on his account. He immediately puts all of his money into his savings account and he's been saving it ever since. And then one of the options or one of the things, it also educates them in the app. And so one of the things is that he started seeing a % return on the money in his savings. Ooh. And he started seeing that the more that was in his savings each month, he would get more money. And he was like, man, I'm getting free money. What does this mean? And then he like literally brought to us, like, what does this like acronym mean? And like, how do you like get more return and why. And we were like, holy smokes, like kids don't ask that. And I don't even think they're taught that, like, because I didn't know any of that. My husband had to talk to him about like, oh, this is, kind of investment and this is how you get the return and all this. And he's so into it. He saves his money. He's so responsible. He wants to work. And he honestly, like, I feel like financial education is probably a whole lot better than some of the stuff that they do focus on in school, because without the financial responsibility and education, like, can you even really succeed at anything? Like, you need money.
Right. I always say money is with us all the time. Even when we're sleeping, we're spending money. We're powering our homes, we're
You're
heating,
right.
cooling, or we're charging our phones, whatever. Like, that money is with us at all times. Why is this not like a number one thing that they teach?
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Wow, you're right.
Yeah. And I brought this up in an episode before. One of the projects that really stuck with me in high school, and actually my 13-year-old had this project last year, and I was like, it's so stupid to me. Like, it's so backwards. It's like this project where you create your own town. Yeah, you remember me talking about this.
do.
You create your own town, and you create like what the minimum wage would be of your town and how much the average rent would be in your town. And you're creating this town, but like you didn't give the kids like a budget. Like, okay, so if this is their minimum wage, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean for their living cost? And it didn't really educate them to me. Like, you just gave them an imaginary thing to just create, but like, what did it really teach them?
Yeah.
Right. Did it ask them like, okay, if you're working this much at minimum wage and you're working 40 hours a week and you bring this much home, can you afford to pay the rent you set for your town?
Right. Like,
No, it didn't, right?
I really don't know what the point of the project is, because you're just giving wages to different jobs and you're just, I don't know, just creating random stuff, and it doesn't make sense to
So
me.
of course it's going to be a town that succeeds because you just made it all up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he get to name his town? What was the name of his town?
Of course. I don't remember what he named it. And I don't remember what I named my town either. Probably something really stupid.
I think I'm actually going to start doing this, is asking people to name their money personality.
Oh, this is interesting.
Like, give it a personification.
Yes. And I'm trying to think of what mine would be.
Like, give us an example. Like, what do you mean? Like, give it a name. Like, tell us a little more on that.
Yeah. Like, okay. So I'm the saver. I'm the one who is like, needs permission to spend money on myself. So like, what name would I give to that person? I don't know.
Like a human name or something like.
Okay. Either one. Like, I could name it, I don't know. People name their cars. Why not name your money?
To make it more
That is true. I would be Horda.
That's funny.
That's fun.
I love it.
It's fun. No, every time I'm gonna find money, I'm gonna be like, oh look, Horda came through again.
I feel like mine would be like Lola, or just something like so fun and just wanting to go out and like not think about the consequences.
There you go. You guys are better at it than I am. I can't think of one for myself.
So you're the saver. It would have to be something kind of like, I don't know, like practical and smart, right?
I mean,
does
it have to be?
It's not more so much that I'm practical and smart. I mean, I am, but it's more that like I felt guilty spending money on myself.
Oh,
that's more of the piece of it. That was me.
Got you. I wonder about like
maybe Gilda. Like Gilda.
That's funny, because I was thinking like kind of like an old-fashioned name, because it's because like it reminds me of the Depression, and like you had to hoard and you wanted to like, I don't know, maybe that's
a really close like second personality, Linda and Gilda.
Yeah.
Gilda, Linda.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, the funny names. That's right up my alley. My first car that I bought, his name was Beasterson, because he was a 92 Ford Explorer. So like full metal, like indestructible. Two different cars hit me like exactly a week apart. I didn't have a single dent. Nothing was wrong with my car, but like the other people totaled their cars. And I was like, man, this is a beast. I got a beaster sitting on my side. So yeah, I like
Nice.
naming things.
I wanted to tell you thank you, Linda, for telling us like there's no wrong money personality because it's really, really easy to put shame on yourself or like have shame for, whoa, that's what I spent. Like, why am I doing this? And I keep doing it every month. And
Yeah, it's the reminder that it's the nurture basically that like led to this belief.
that's
Yeah.
actually that's different than I was saying, but I like that a lot. That's true. It's not necessarily something that you can help yourself if you understand yourself, right?
Yeah,
Is what you're
Exactly.
making me think. But I think it's important. Like, I really like that you said there's not a wrong personality because I think shame is it's a very bad, like, it can really spiral you, right?
Mhm.
And it can just kind of push you further down into the situation or the hole that you're digging for yourself. Whereas if you can kind of look at it without shame, you're able to kind of say, oh, you're able to look at it, even just look at it. And maybe that's me saying that's because I'm an avoider.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and your
Well, and
response was so big probably because avoiding sounds like a dirty word.
Fair. Interesting.
it was because you're like, oh, I think I'm an avoider. Like, but
Yeah.
But here's the thing, we're all people. We all have personalities. We all have our own stories and baggage, whatever you want to call it. And let's just be real and be our authentic selves. And if that's who we are, let's just understand it better
I love
and
that.
understand why we're doing the things that we do. And
Yeah.
how can we make
True.
better choices, but not change ourselves, just make better choices based on
Yeah.
who we are.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. I think that's a perfect place to kind of end it out, actually.
Did you like the episode that you heard today? Great! Share it with a friend and don't forget to rate and review.